Iran and the US used to share a strong alliance. In fact, during the 1970s, when European allies of the US were unable to obtain the advanced F-14 fighter jet, Iran acquired 80 of them. However, tensions between the two countries increased over time, culminating in the Islamic Revolution of 1979. Today, Iran has pursued nuclear projects, acquired ballistic missiles, and funded militant groups across Middle East. Over the years, both sides have made threats and carried out asset seizures. Additionally, the US has a history of invading other countries based on questionable intelligence. While many videos on YouTube discussed about how the US will invade Iran, we will instead explore the political and economic costs of such a war. Indeed, an invasion of Iran could become the costliest war led by the US since World War II. We will discuss step by step, starting from before the invasion all the way to the US departure from the country. The political costs of an invasion of Iran would be significant, beginning even before the preparation stage. For the past 70 years, the US has been assisted by its closest European allies while participating in various operations outside of their own borders. However, the invasion of Iraq in 2003 based on false intelligence, the unfavorable outcomes of the Arab Spring, the rise of terrorism resulting from destabilized regions, and the influx of millions of refugees into Europe have all prompted European leaders to be more cautious about an invasion. For example, on the issue of Taiwan, while the US is fully committed to its defense, many European nations are hesitant to get involved, citing that it is not their problem. Then there are global economic impacts. Control of Iran over the northern 270 kilometers or 168 miles of the Strait of Hormuz is significant as 20% of the world's oil supply passes through it. To put into perspective, oil from Russia accounted for only 11% of global production in 2021, and the fuel disruption caused by the Ukraine conflict brought the world to the brink of an economic downturn. Iran's fleet of small vessels armed with anti-ship missiles and torpedoes can stop and intimidate tankers for months if they suspect that the US is preparing for an invasion. This could lead to increased global energy prices, business decline, high inflation, and a global recession. Europe is highly likely refrain from joining the invasion or withdrawing from unconditional political and military support in future events, considering every aspect of it will hurt Europe. The complexity of an invasion of Iran begins from preparation. Iran is about 1.65 million square kilometers or 0.6 million square miles, with the Alborz mountain range dominating the north, and the Zagros mountain range forming its western natural border with Iraq. Tehran, the capital, is around 1,200 kilometers or 750 miles away from the main U.S. entry point Bandar Abbas by water. On land, Basra, Iraq is the most convenient location, approximately 1,050 kilometers or 650 miles from Tehran, with natural mountainous defenses. Due to the vastness of Iran, its mountainous terrain, and the lengthy journey to the capital, a significantly higher number of military personnel and specialized equipment would be required for an invasion compared to the invasion of Iraq, which involved around 300,000 personnel. Despite the US being capable of arranging everything without assistance, the preparation process would still be challenging. Iran has a long history of supplying weapons and training militant groups in Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen, gaining years of combat experience against ISIS, Saudi, and US-backed groups. Iranian militants joined the fight against ISIS in Baghdad, slowly pushing them back after the Iraqi army was struggling. The US joined the fight a month later. These groups will start harassing the US military before they even set foot on Iranian soil, using roadside bombs and destroying supply lines. Iran has a fleet of cheap, continuously improving drones that are difficult to detect on radar, forcing the US to fortify bases with higher defenses. Iran also has their decent military capacity that we will discuss future. Besides, Russia is attempting to create a route through Iran to gain access to India, bypassing the European route. This creates an incentive for Russia to provide Iran with sophisticated technology or equipment directly. Iran's advantageous geography, vast militant network, and military capabilities will force the US to bring in a large quantity of both generic and sophisticated military equipment, resulting in one of the most expensive invasion preparations in history. The US will aim to establish air superiority by targeting Iranian airports, fighters, radars, and anti-air defenses, but Iran has invested significantly in air defense and air capacity. Iran's military includes a relatively large and sophisticated air force, air defense system, and ballistic missile capabilities, consisting of various surface-to-air missile systems such as the Russian-made S-300 and domestically produced Bavar 373 systems. Iran has also developed a range of ballistic missiles capable of striking targets throughout the region, including the Shahab-1, Shahab-2, Shahab-3, and Ghadr missiles. Additionally, Iran has emerged as a major player in the production of cheap and flexible drones, as seen in the Ukraine war. While Iran's air force consists of outdated fighter jets from the 1970s and 1980s, they have been acquiring modernized equipment such as the Russian-made Sukhoi Su-30SM and Su-35 fighter jets, as well as the domestically produced Kausar fighter jet. However, it is unclear how much defense and offensive machinery Iran possesses, since they often reverse engineer other countries' equipment. In 2019, Iran claimed it shot down a U.S. surveillance drone over the Strait of Hormuz for violating its airspace. Past reports indicate that U.S. helicopters and drones have been shot down by Iranian forces during the Iraq War. Therefore, establishing total air dominance will not be easy and may result in the loss of valuable air assets of the U.S. After costly air dominance is established, the journey to Tehran will begin. The path to the capital will be dangerous, particularly between mountains. Swarm of drones, militant groups, and the Islamic Republic of Iran army will pose a significant threat. The U.S. will also need to defend against militant groups operating in Iraq controlled by Iran. Upon reaching the capital, both sides will engage in urban combat for every inch of land in which Iran has expertise. Slow and painful battle will begin. If the U.S. chooses to take Tehran, they have the military capability to do so, but it will come at a high cost. Despite their unmatched military strength, the loss of personnel and equipment would be greater than any war in recent decades, given Iran has decent preparation. Once they establish control in the capital, their focus will shift to other regions of Iran, which is a vast country 3 times the size of Ukraine with a population of 85.2 million spread across cities, deserts, and mountains. Whether the U.S. can control all of Iran is up for debate, but it would require a massive amount of resources. Iran might not be the greatest military power, but they have advantages over the U.S. in almost every aspect of the invasion except firepower. While the U.S. may be able to take over the capital of Iran, it's unlikely they can control the entire country for long. The invasion will unite the local people. It's also unlikely that the U.S. will occupy the country forever. They will have their own government in power before leaving the country, but rebuilding a war-torn nation will require a significant investment. Iran-backed groups have experience fighting against the local government for years. It is possible that once the U.S. leaves the country, the old power will take control, similar to the Taliban in Afghanistan. Iran is better prepared with combat experience in the region, a decent military capability, and a geographical advantage. Other countries that have been invaded by the U.S. and its allies had 1 or 2 of these advantages, but not all of them. Therefore, an invasion of Iran would likely be the most expensive military operation led by the U.S. since World War II. Let's hope there will be no war and countries will resolve differences in peace. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe for future content.